You already know so much, and that's part of what makes this season so heavy. You wake up with insights, phrases, quotes, teachings echoing in your mind, yet you still catch yourself falling into the same reactions. You promise yourself, this time I'll choose differently, and then a familiar trigger appears, and your old self takes the steering wheel again. There's a subtle shame that follows you into the night, as if your wisdom is mocking your behavior. You scroll, you learn, you heal, and still there is that stubborn feeling of déjà vu in your own life. It's like your consciousness has upgraded, but your daily choices are still on the previous version. Before we go any further, let this be the moment you choose to stay close to this kind of reminder. Save this, follow this space, let your future self have a doorway back to you. Because what you're feeling isn't a sign that you're broken. It's a sign that your soul is trying to graduate. You move through your day sensing two timelines pulling on you at once. One is the old script, over-explaining yourself, saying yes when you mean no, doubting every intuitive hit you get. The other is quieter but powerful. The part of you that already knows this is not the life you came here to repeat. In a conversation, you feel the words you want to say rise in your chest, but your mouth chooses the safer sentence. When an opportunity appears, you feel a full-body yes. Then your nervous system floods with what-ifs and pulls you back. You watch yourself from the inside, almost as if you are both the observer and the character stuck in a loop. That double awareness is uncomfortable, but it is also sacred. It means you are no longer fully unconscious in your own story. There are moments when you feel almost angry at yourself for how long this has been going on. You might think, I've done the work, I've read the books, I've journaled, why is this still here? You look at people who seem to embody their truth easily and wonder if they know some secret you don't. You worry that maybe you are the exception, the one-person awareness doesn't seem to truly transform. You try to push yourself with discipline, routines, and strict standards, hoping sheer force will drag you into the life you desire. But discipline without energetic alignment just turns into self-punishment. Deep beneath that frustration, there is not a lack of willpower. There is a lack of safety to become the person you actually are. That is where we begin to shift. At night, when everything gets quiet, the voices get louder. One part of you whispers, "You're failing. Look at how little has changed." Another part whispers, "You're closer than you think. Look at how much you see now." You replay conversations, noticing the exact points where you abandoned your truth. You remember the invitations life gave you that you politely declined because they felt too big, too risky, too new. You feel both the regret and the raw desire to stop repeating that pattern. In that tension, something deeper is waking up, the non-negotiable knowing that you can't keep betraying yourself without consequence. This is the pressure that precedes a breakthrough. It can feel like you're walking with one foot in the old world and one foot in the new, and the split is exhausting. You might notice your body tightening when you try to act like your future self, as if your own muscles are resisting the upgrade. You catch yourself thinking, maybe I should just accept that this is who I am, yet something in you refuses to settle. That refusal is not your ego being dramatic. It's your soul refusing to abandon its original blueprint. The more you resist that inner truth, the more drained and misaligned you feel. The more you lean toward it, the more alive and terrified you feel at the same time. That mix of fear and excitement is a sign you are standing at a threshold. So right now, as you listen, feel the version of you that is tired of circling the same lessons. Feel the part of you that is secretly hoping this message will finally be the one that lands deeply enough to change something. Acknowledge the exhaustion, the confusion, the self-doubt without trying to fix any of it yet. Breathe into your chest and notice how much you've been carrying in silence. Then make one simple inner agreement. You are available for a new way of relating to this gap between knowing and living. You are willing to see it differently, feel it differently, walk with it differently. That willingness is the first real step your future self has been waiting for. Let's step through this together. You are not stuck because you don't know enough. You are stuck because your energy has not fully recalibrated to what you know. Your mind has upgraded, but your nervous system is still running an older operating system. For years, maybe decades, your body learned that certain patterns meant safety, even if those patterns were painful. People-pleasing meant belonging. Self-criticism meant control. Shrinking meant staying out of danger. These programs did not come from weakness. They came from survival. And now you are asking your system to abandon what once kept you safe and call that growth. When you try to act like your future self, your body silently asks, "But will we be safe if we do this?" You feel this as anxiety, resistance, procrastination, or a sudden wave of fatigue right when you decide to change. You interpret it as laziness or sabotage, but at the deepest level, it is simply your survival system doing its job. It knows how to protect you using old strategies, and it doesn't yet trust the new ones. So when you set a new boundary or take a bold step, your body alerts you with fear as if you're walking into danger. Not because you're wrong, but because you're unfamiliar. Unfamiliar has always been filed under unsafe. Energetically, your field still holds the imprint of the version of you who had to cope, adapt, and disguise themselves to be accepted. This older self had certain beliefs. If I shine too much, I'll be abandoned. If I tell the truth, I'll be rejected. If I relax, everything will fall apart. These beliefs are not just thoughts. They are frequencies stored in your muscles, your breath, your posture. They shape how you enter rooms, how you interpret silence, how you respond to opportunities. So even when your conscious mind says, "I am worthy," your body might still be vibrating at, "I must earn my place." That mismatch creates the friction you feel. Think of it as two radio stations playing at once inside you. One is the old channel broadcasting fear, scarcity, and self-doubt. The other is your higher channel broadcasting clarity, worthiness, and expansion. When you know better but still act from the old pattern, it's not because the higher channel disappeared. It's because the old channel is still louder in your body. You are in the process of tuning your entire system, not just your thoughts, to the higher frequency. That takes repetition, kindness, and time, not shame and impatience. Spiritually, you can imagine your future self existing as a real energetic field that already surrounds you. They are not far away in time. They are further into your own authenticity. When you receive intuitive nudges, sudden insights, or a deep knowing that you can't logically explain, that is your future self touching your present. They send you whispers, images, and feelings that don't match your current life yet. That mismatch is why you feel the gap so intensely. You are literally living in between two vibrational realities, the one you were shaped by and the one you are called to embody. Instead of fighting this gap, you can begin to study it. Notice when your body contracts and when it relaxes. Notice which situations make you instantly revert to old roles. Notice where your voice gets smaller or your heart races when you want to speak your truth. This gentle awareness is not passive. It's powerful data. You are learning exactly where your system still believes safety is tied to your old identity. As you see these places clearly, you're no longer being controlled by them unconsciously. You're standing at the control panel, watching the wiring, ready to reroute it. And in this observation, I invite you to soften. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are in the sacred phase where knowledge begins to descend from the mind into the body, from theory into breath, from concept into choice. This is some of the most courageous inner work you will ever do. So instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" start asking, "What is my body still protecting me from? And how can I show it that I am safe now?" That shift in question starts to melt the gap from the inside. What if this uncomfortable in-between is not proof that you're broken, but proof that you're in transit? You are not parked in failure. You are moving through a corridor between realities. Corridors are narrow and uncomfortable. They don't look like the destination. You see doors to the old life you've already outgrown, and doors to the new life that still scares you. Some days you stand in the middle, frozen, judging yourself for not choosing faster. But what if this pause, this friction, this repeated lesson is your soul's way of training you for the next level of embodiment? What if this is not punishment, but preparation? Every time you notice yourself acting from your old self, that awareness is not a slap on the wrist. It's an alarm clock ringing. You couldn't even see the pattern this clearly 5 years ago. Back then, the behavior felt like just who I am. Now it feels wrong in your body, and that discomfort is holy. It means your alignment is upgrading and cannot tolerate what used to be normal. When you feel that inner cringe after you betray your truth, that is not just shame. That is your higher self refusing to let the old story slide by unnoticed. It is asking you to stop calling your coping personality and start calling it what it is. A phase that kept you alive, but cannot lead you forward. You have been telling yourself a certain story about being stuck. Maybe it sounds like, I always sabotage myself, or I never follow through, or I'm all talk and no action. These stories feel true because you can list examples. But they are not the whole truth. They are interpretations. They are labels you put on a nervous system that was trying to keep you safe. The more you repeat these labels, the deeper you carve them into your identity. Then, unconsciously, you live down to them. The story becomes the cage. And yet, in the very same life, there are also moments where you were brave, honest, and aligned. You rarely highlight those, but they are evidence of your future self already peeking through. To rewrite the story, you don't pretend the past never happened. You reinterpret what it meant. Instead of, I always sabotage, you might realize, I pull back when my system feels overwhelmed because it never learned how to feel safe with expansion. Instead of, I'm inconsistent, you might see, I'm learning to build rhythms that match my actual energy, not my self-judgment. This kind of reframe doesn't let you off the hook. It puts you back on your path. It returns you to compassion, and compassion is the soil where sustainable change grows. You cannot bully yourself into embodiment. You can only invite yourself into it again and again. From this new story, the gap between knowing and living becomes a training ground instead of a courtroom. Every repeated pattern is now a chance to respond differently, even if only by 1 degree. You start to notice your triggers not as enemies, but as doorways. When someone crosses your boundary and you freeze, you don't just hate yourself afterward. You study the freeze. You ask what it needs. You imagine how your future self would have handled it and practice even one sentence that brings you closer to that version. Slowly, repetition turns into rewiring. And in those small moments of choosing differently, you begin to feel time bend a little. The future self you thought was far away starts to feel closer, more familiar. The gap shrinks not through a single dramatic leap, but through thousands of micro-choices. Choices to pause instead of react, to tell the truth instead of perform, to rest instead of grind yourself into numbness, to say yes where you used to say no out of fear, and no where you used to say yes out of fear. Each of these choices is a thread pulling your future into your present. So when your mind screams, nothing is changing, pause and look again. Notice the subtle ways you've already shifted. The way you now walk away from certain conversations. The way you can feel your emotions more clearly. The way you crave authenticity more than approval, even if you don't always choose it yet. These are not small things. They are tectonic. They mean the ground inside you is moving. Let that truth sink in. You are not stuck in the story you used to tell. You are already rewriting it, sentence by sentence. Now, bring your attention to the version of you who is already on the other side of this gap. This is not a fantasy character. This is your consciousness, fully embodied. They wake up in the same world, under the same sky, but move with a different presence. They have gone from intellectual understanding to lived truth. They no longer debate their worth internally. They move as if it is already settled. They still feel fear, resistance, and doubt, but they relate to those feelings differently. Instead of shrinking, they breathe, listen, and choose anyway. This is the self who has collapsed the distance between knowing and living. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this future you standing in front of you. Maybe they look a little older, maybe not. Don't get lost in the details. Feel their energy first. Notice how they hold their shoulders, how they breathe, how their eyes rest on you. There is something steady, grounded, and kind about them. They are not rushing to fix you because they remember being exactly where you are. They carry a quiet confidence that comes from having walked through the very gap you're in now. Let yourself feel their presence as real, not as a fantasy. Now, in your mind, ask them one simple question. What did you stop doing to become who you are? Let the answers rise, even if they come as feelings, images, or single words. Maybe you sense that they stopped betraying their boundaries. Maybe they stopped apologizing for taking up space. Maybe they stopped ignoring their intuition in favor of external approval. Ask another question. What did you start doing? Consistently, even when it was uncomfortable. Sense the habits, the conversations, the inner choices they made. They are showing you not in abstract ideas, but in lived patterns. This future self doesn't speak to you in lectures. They speak in coordinates. Every time you feel a strong inner yes or no, that's them marking a path. Every time a certain situation drains you beyond reason, that's them highlighting what no longer belongs. Every time you taste a moment of deep alignment, where your actions and your truth match, that's them saying, this, more of this. They guide you not only through inspiration, but through contrast. Both the joy and the discomfort are messages from them. To make this connection practical, choose one gesture, one phrase, or one breath pattern that will become your future self anchor. Could be placing your hand on your heart and taking 3 slow breaths. It could be silently saying, I remember who I am. Could be straightening your posture and relaxing your jaw. Decide that whenever you do this, you are consciously inviting your future self to stand beside you in that moment. You are signaling to your system, we are not doing this alone, and we are not doing this from the old identity. Then, bring this future self with you into the ordinary scenes of your life. Picture them standing behind you when you open your messages, walk into work, greet your loved ones, or make decisions about your time and energy. Ask quietly, how would you move here? What would you say? What would you not say? You don't need a dramatic vision every time. Sometimes the guidance is as simple as speak slower, pause before replying, or leave 5 minutes earlier. These tiny shifts, chosen repeatedly, become the bridge between you and them. The more often you consult this inner guide, the less mysterious embodiment becomes. It's no longer about forcing yourself to be someone you're not. It's about remembering someone you already are, in a realm beyond your current habits. Your future self is not above you, not superior to you. They are simply you without the layers of fear and conditioning. When you treat them as a loving mentor instead of an unreachable standard, the gap becomes a partnership. Together, you collapse it from both ends, your present self reaching forward and your future self reaching back. Collapsing the gap between knowing and living doesn't happen in grand declarations. It happens in the quiet choices you make when nobody is watching. It happens when you pause before responding to a message that triggers you. It happens when you leave the conversation that is draining your spirit. It happens when you actually go to bed when your body is begging for rest, instead of scrolling away your exhaustion. These moments look ordinary from the outside, but energetically, they are massive. Each one is a declaration. I am choosing my future self over my old pattern. Start by choosing one area of your life where the gap feels loudest. Maybe it's your relationships, where you know your worth but keep settling for crumbs. Maybe it's your work, where you feel called to something deeper but keep playing safe. Maybe it's your body, where you understand self-love in theory but talk to yourself with quiet cruelty. Don't try to overhaul everything. Focus your energy. Ask, if my future self fully lived their truth in this area, what would be the next small, concrete action? Let the answer be simple enough that your nervous system can actually allow it. As you move through your day, use one powerful question as a compass. What would my future self do with this moment? Not tomorrow, not in a year, this exact moment. When the urge to over-explain rises, your future self might choose to say less and trust their own clarity. When a fear of missing out appears, your future self might choose to honor their energy instead of forcing themselves to attend everything. When old guilt surfaces for putting yourself first, your future self might breathe and hold the line anyway. Again and again, you choose according to the version of you who is already living it. Your body will react to these new choices, and that's where you practice staying present. When anxiety or doubt swells, remember, this is the old system protesting, not a sign that you're on the wrong path. Meet your body with reassurance instead of judgment. You might say internally, I know this feels unsafe, but we are okay. This is just new. You might place a hand on your heart, slow your breath, and let the wave of sensation move through you instead of turning back. The more you can feel without fleeing, the more your system learns that embodiment is not dangerous. There will be days when you slip back into old patterns completely, and that's part of the path. The difference now is that you don't have to turn a single slip into a story of defeat. Instead of saying, "See, nothing has changed," you can say, "I see exactly where I still revert," and that clarity is valuable. You apologize if needed, you realign where you can, and you keep going. Your future self did not get where they are by never falling. They got there by refusing to turn a fall into a final verdict. They chose to get up while holding compassion and responsibility in the same hand. Over time, this process of choosing, grounding, and returning becomes your new normal. You begin to notice that certain reactions feel outdated, like clothes that no longer fit. You hear yourself speak and realize your language has changed subtly. More honest, more direct, more loving. You see how your calendar starts to reflect your actual values, not your fear of disappointing others. You feel your body relax more often because it has started to associate authenticity with safety. This is what collapsing the gap looks like in real life. Less drama on the outside, more integrity on the inside. As you stand here, between the self you have been and the self you are becoming, remember this. You are not chasing your future self. You are revealing them. Every insight you've had, every discomfort you've felt, every moment you wanted more for yourself has been part of this unveiling. The gap between knowing and living has not been an enemy. It has been a mirror. It has shown you where your life no longer matches your truth. It has revealed where your soul is done negotiating. And now you are ready to choose your timeline more consciously. Integration means you stop treating your spiritual knowing as something separate from your daily humanity. It means your healing doesn't stay on the page of your journal. It walks with you into conversations, decisions, and habits. It means that the way you breathe when you're anxious is part of your practice. The way you say yes or no is part of your practice. The way you rest, eat, speak, and dream is part of your practice. There is no on and off anymore. There is only alignment or self-abandonment. And each moment offers you another chance to choose alignment, no matter how many times you have chosen otherwise before. If this message is resonating, it's because a deeper part of you is already living everything we've spoken about. They led you here to hear this reflection, to remember what you already know. Honor that part by turning this into action. Choose one promise to your future self that you will keep today. Maybe it's a boundary you won't cross. Maybe it's a conversation you will finally have. Maybe it's 10 minutes of stillness where you let your nervous system unwind. Say it out loud or write it down as a contract between who you've been and who you're becoming. Then, choose a way to stay connected to this frequency. Save this as a reminder for the days you forget. Share it with the version of you who always doubts so that when they surface, they have something solid to hold on to. Stay close to spaces, people, and messages that call you back into alignment rather than keep you small. Follow this channel so your future self has consistent ways to reach you, especially in the moments you're tempted to fall back asleep. Let your environment support the identity you are stepping into. You are not behind. You are right on time for your own awakening. The very fact that you feel this gap so intensely is proof that you are not meant to live half-aligned. You are wired for depth, for truth, for embodiment. Your future self is not somewhere far in the distance. They are already woven into your present breath. As you choose them in small ways day after day, you will look back and realize the gap quietly closed while you were busy living. So take a breath, place a hand over your heart, and say gently to yourself, I am ready to live what I know. Feel the truth of that echo in your body, even if it trembles. This is your turning point if you let it be. From this moment forward, every decision, every pause, every honest word can be a bridge. And step by step, you will find that the life you once only understood has become the life you fully inhabit.